This week, we're going to look at a few different ways that you can deal with NaNs in your data and the advantages and disadvantages of each. Welcome to another MetPy Monday. Hello, I'm John Lehman, a software engineer for Unidata. This week, I want to talk about NaNs in our data, or not a number. This is something that we encounter quite a bit in the earth sciences. We don't always have all of the measurements. So what do? Do we throw all of the data out that has a NaN in that row for that time or that height? Do we interpolate it? How do we interpolate it? What are some of the more valid ways to do this? Well, it really depends on what your data are and what you're trying to get from them. But first, let's get some data with some NaNs, and we'll take a look at a few different ways that you can handle it. So first, from siphon.simplewebservice.iowastate, we're going to import Iowa State upper air. From datetime, we're going to import datetime. From metpy.units, we're going to import the unit registry and the helper pandas data frame to unit arrays. I'm going to import metpy.interpolate as mpinterp. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. numpy as np. And pandas as pd. So if you haven't guessed it yet, we're going to be looking at some upper air data. We'll get OUN from February 2nd, 2022 0Z. All right. And that's going to give us a data frame back. We're going to use the Iowa State upper air class, the request data method, for a time and station. And we get that warning about pandas not liking the fact that we append units as an attribute, but that's okay. And if we just look at the head of this data frame, we see right away that there are some NaNs in the temperature and dew point columns or data series. Let's go ahead and turn these into unit arrays. Use the pandas data frame to unit arrays. And now if you remember, this gives us a dictionary where the key is the data series name and the value is an array with units attached. So what are the things that you can do with NaNs? Well, the first thing that you can do is probably the least exciting. That's leave it. If you're not going to cause problems for a calculation by having some missing data, just leave the data there. So for example, we can look at the temperature data series, which of course we have to color red, and the dew point data series, and we see, there's gaps in the data. But do we care? Now notice that matplotlib, because they're NaNs, does make disconnected line segments. It doesn't connect those segments for us. If we connect those segments, that would roughly be equivalent to interpolating in a linear or log way, but that's getting ahead of ourselves. So if we look at it with height, because this is really what the data look like, it's not lines, they're just individual data points. So again, we'll look at temperature. And we're not really trying to make a meteorologically useful plot here, we're just trying to see what's in our data. And we'll go ahead and color that green. Yeah, so that's what we really have. If we look at the data like this, you might not really realize that there's NaNs there because they're just simply not plotted. So if that doesn't cause a problem for your calculation, the best thing you can do to your data set is leave it alone. All right, but what if that does cause an issue for you? Well, we can remove NaNs, and we would want to remove where temperature, let's say our calculation requires both temperature and dew point. We want to remove where either of them is NaN, because we're not guaranteed that where temperature is NaN, dew point is NaN, and the other way around. So the other way we can deal with it then is to simply remove it. The easiest way that I can think of to do this is we're going to create an array that's the index of where these NaNs are. It's just going to be a Boolean array, really. It's not an index array. We're going to use the isNaN function. We're going to find where temperature is NaN, and we're going to OR it with the dew point. Now you can do this to a pandas data series. Pandas has some convenient drop-in-A methods, but remember, we're not a pandas data series anymore. So now we'll go ahead, and I'm actually going to grab our plot code from up here. And we're going to index into that with the not NaN index. So if it's not a NaN, we keep it. All right, so there we go. Now we have fewer data points in our plot. Notice our maximum index is 40 instead of close to 60 here. But the shape is the same. We haven't thrown away any valid data, at least not that had one or the other being NaN. Okay, and we can also interpolate. Maybe we have useful, but we want to keep the wind and other parameters from the sounding, so we don't want to just throw that whole row of data out, but we do want a temperature and dew point value there. In MetPy's interpolation submodule, there are several handy functions. So temperature interpolated, NP interp, we're going to interpolate NaNs 1D, and let's work with the height coordinate for x and the temperature coordinate for y. We'll interpolate the dew point as well. Again with height and the dew point. Now we can plot those up. So again, I'm just going to go grab plot code, save myself some typing. This is going to become tinterp. This is going to become td interp. And you might say, well, I don't really see the difference in these. So let's go get our scatter code. And we're going to make sure we plot both of these as a function of height. And now you can see that in fact we do have done some interpolation in here. We could scatter plot these with, say, a true red and true green. And you can see, for example, these points are more red than these. If we needed more contrast, since that's a little harder to see, we could pick a couple of different colors, and you can see the interpolated points sticking out there. But that's interpolation with height in a linear way. We can interpolate many different ways, and you have to consider, is linear interpolation valid? Do we expect temperature to vary linearly with height? Well, we know at a standard lapse rate, we're looking at so many degrees per so many meters. So yeah, that's a slope. But what about in the pressure space? In pressure space, we expect a log interpolation. But let's go ahead and do both here. So I'm going to copy that. We're going to do a linear interpolation in pressure. And thanks to the magic of units, we do need to go ahead and strip units off. So we'll use .m, or magnitude. All right, and we're also going to do it in log space. We do that with the keyword argument kind, and we set that equal to the string log. Now we've done our two interpolations. Let's make another plot. Actually, we'll just do this one from scratch. So plot.plot. Going to interp p linear. Let's just look at temperature. Make our life a little easier with so many lines on the plot here. Okay, so that's going to be linear. We'll leave that as the default color cycler, which is going to be the blue, tab blue. And log is going to be orange. And we see, well, they really look pretty similar here. So maybe we need to look at a residual plot. So let's make a residual plot. The linear interpolation with height. And let's look at the interpolation with log of pressure. So this should be linear with height, log with pressure. They should be roughly identical, making use of the assumption of a linear lapse rate. And yeah, we see something like, 0.01 degree difference here at the most. So that's not too bad. But now let's look at the residual plot of if we use a linear interpolation in pressure space and a log interpolation in pressure space. Now we see we're getting up to a couple tenths of a degree, so an order of magnitude more variation here. So this isn't a dramatic example, but it is an example to say you should think about the way that you're doing this, whether you need to interpolate in a linear space, a log space, or some other space. And finally, we can fill it. So we can use a pandas method. So I'm going to create a data series. I'm going to create a series object, and it's going to be based on our temperature united array. And we can use the fill_NA method, which is going to fill NaNs. And you can read about all the different methods, but I'm going to backfill. So I'm going to take a point and go back up the data series and fill in any missing values with that point. So what does that look like? Well, we're going to plot that. I'm going to plot just the regular old temperature data series. I'm going to offset it by 5 degrees so we can see the plots. I'm going to make it red. And let's plot the interpolated. I'm going to offset it 10 degrees. And let's make it orange. So the broken line is the raw readings. The orange line is our interpolated readings, linear with height. And then the blue line is our backfilled. So you can see, for example, in the interpolation, we continue the slope, whereas the backfilled has these steps or plateaus. Is that more valid for your data? Well, with a sounding where we know that a lapse rate exists, probably not. An interpolation is probably more valid. But there are certainly data that I could imagine where a filling method is probably more realistic. So this week, I just wanted to show you several ways that you can deal with missing data or NaNs and talk about some of the advantages and disadvantages of each. I hope that you found it useful. I'll see you on next week's MetPy Monday.